Along Highway 49 in Jamestown, visitors pan for gold on Woods Creek. 3 generations of the Prebelik family have been running California gold panning since the late 1970s. The grandfather, Terry Prebelik, moved to California from Minnesota in 1979 when he was working for a newspaper for a printing press.
I was taking my lunch break one day and I looked down on the creek and we were watching this old man sitting down in the creek panning. I'd never seen panning before. And all of a sudden he's waving us down. So we went down and took a look on the creek. He found a 3.5-ounce gold nugget, which is about the size of your palm of your hand right in here. And it was beautiful, and he had me. I was gone from there. Ran out the next weekend and bought pans and went gold mining.
Terry learned the tricks of the trade from old-timer miners. His most memorable moment was when he found 127 ounces of gold.
Oh, that filled the pan up about that thick with gold. And it was just beautiful. It's the biggest nugget I had in there was just under 3 ounces.
Back then, he was able to dive 8 feet underwater to dig for gold. It took 2 days to clean out the crevice. He would sell the gold to make a living and raise his family.
I've had good luck, and some of the days you eat fried egg sandwiches. Other days you eat steak, but it's like life, it's hard work. You got to work it. It's not going to jump in your pan for you. You got to work hard for it.
He passed on his knowledge to his son, Nick, who passed it on to his son, Nate.
Well, it's great. I get to see my son and my father all the time. Everybody doesn't get to do that, and this is the only exercise that Dad gets. He'd be sitting on the couch otherwise watching TV. And I'm lucky in the way that this is my office, It's more meditative than anything for me. So.
Now they teach people how to pan for gold.
So what we do for our guests is to bring them down and give them a full experience as a 1800s miner, basically. We use a little bit more modern tools, of course, but what we do is get them right into the water, get dirty.
Nate demonstrates where and how to dig and how to filter out material.
Any dirt around us is the material that we're going to dig up. We sift through it first using a device called a classifier, and that's where we filter out large rocks, anything larger than a ½ inch, actually.
They get rid of all the material and collect all the remaining sandy bits.
Then we have a device called a sluice box we set right in the creek, and it filters it even further. So we can run anywhere from 1 5-gallon bucket of material to 100 5-gallon buckets of material. And it's going to sift it all down to just 1 gold pan's worth.
This way, the box does 100 times the work, making the process quicker.
So just go ahead and fill them up with water, and we're going to dump it right into the top.
Nate gave a manual panning demonstration.
Okay, you're fine. We're going to finish rinsing off the sides. There we go. One more for luck. Let's see what we get. There we go, beautiful. I'll take that gold pan from you now. Thank you. And now we got 3 other segments in here. We got these large riffles that act like the bedrock we've been talking about. Okay. The water's gonna run across this and get caught underneath these large riffles. So we got that rinsed off, we'll set that to the side. And then we got this metal grate right here. It's roughly a ½ inch thick grate, and this is capturing even finer material than the large grate. Wow. And so each one of these little areas is gonna collect material for us.
As he pours out excess water, he explains that gold is heavy and stays at the bottom, so he isn't worried about accidentally letting any slip away.
We're gonna go ahead and set down our gold pans and pour our pay dirt right inside of it. So I just use a little bit of water, splash out the material. There we go, we're gonna get it all inside of our gold pan.
Lastly, we use the pan to sift the remaining material. Water and gravity holds the heavy stuff back until only gold is left.
We're looking for bright yellow sunshine.
There's that piece up there.
Is that? Eureka, we're rich!
As for storing, Nate scooped some water from the river into a tiny jar. We used our fingers to pick up the tiny pieces and put them in the jar for display.
So a lot of modern miners use what's called a snuffer bottle, just a little suction device to suck all this up. I don't really use all that fancy equipment,
Yeah, just use
so I
it
just use
simple.
my hand and the creek that I'm in.
The world's largest piece of crystalline gold, clocking in at over 24 pounds, was found here. So there's a possibility to strike it incredibly rich. But for the most part, we find very small flakes of placer gold today.
Placer gold is little chunks of gold floating in the water. The area is known for lode gold, where the gold is naturally formed to the quartz crystal.
That's what the big ticket item is out here. Being able to find any gold attached to this quartz is what made this area so valuable back in the day. Between 1849 and early 1900s, they pulled an estimated 187 tons out of this area.
Despite so many tons of gold being removed, Nate's grandfather estimates that miners have only removed about 15% of the gold in California.
What we find out here is 22 to 23 karat pure gold. Now, you can get 24 karat gold only by chemically processing it. So out here it's as natural, as pure as it can naturally be.
Visitors can book tours to Pan in groups for anywhere from an hour to 3 days. They hope to keep the family business going for years to come. Eileen Ang, NTD News, Jamestown, California.